Welcome back guys to another GTA video, and in today's one we are going to be completing the tier 3 requirements for the career progress on the Diamond Casino Heist, and that involves completing the casino heist on hard mode in under 10 minutes. And I do have to say it was a little bit more difficult than what I initially thought. But first up, the thing that you do need to do is upgrade one of your getaway vehicles. We did attempt this a few times, including the helicopter escape, but the vehicle escape was definitely the quickest. As you can see, we are doing the big con approach. You can use the aggressive approach to get this completed, but we found the big con was much easier. And as you can see there, we selected the low level buyer, which is the closest buyer, and we also paid for the gunman decoy, which allows us a little bit more free time before being detected by the cops. A couple of things that you do need to be aware of before we get into this video here is the timer. Now, I did run a stopwatch when we were doing this, and it was consistently 1 minute over the time that it gave us at the end of each of our completed heists, so I'm not sure whether it deducts cutscenes or where the timer actually starts for this heist. So what myself and Roughwood ended up doing was, if it didn't feel like a good time, we quit before the end of it, so as we didn't have to set it back up. The other thing that you do need to bear in mind, and I'm sure you're all aware of it, is the number of bugs and glitches with this heist. They are atrocious. I've got a permanent one, as you'll see later on, but we did manage to find just a kind of workaround for it. But as you can see, starting things off, we are starting from my arcade in La Mesa and taking the Group 6 truck into the back of the Lost MC's clubhouse area and smashing into the wall. This triggers the first of 3 cutscenes and gets you into the underground tunnel. This first part of the heist, there's nothing unusual with it, it's just as you would normally do it, just trying to get to the casino itself as quickly as possible without hitting any of the NPC traffic. And when you're coming through the security tunnel here, it's just trying to judge your speed so you're driving straight through as the doors are opening. Same with this one here, when the doors are open it's getting through, and you're just looking to take this angle into the yellow dot here. Now, I do use the third person camera angle all throughout this heist, and I think if we'd been close or not met the time, I would have went into first person for the further tries, but the third person camera angle is good enough. But first person to the door does swipe the card, and then it's just getting down the stairs as quickly as possible. Now, the first thing that you do want to do is, when you come through this door, you want to be swiping this card before you go to the man trap. That way this door is open for you on the way out, and you don't need to waste time swiping the card at that point. But heading through to the man trap, it is time for the two of us to swipe the cards together. Now, we were experiencing a little bit of a lag and delay, so we did use the mics and give ourselves a countdown so as we timed our swipes at the same time. And as you'll see later on, it is that door that gives me a few problems. But heading through the man trap until we trigger the second cutscene, and yep, you do run faster in first person, but like I said, I'm using third person at the moment, and if I did fail it, I would have tried first person on the future runs, but we did it in plenty of time just using the third person. But getting through the man trap, we do trigger the cutscene and get ourselves into the vault. Now, this is where you want to be very quick, so as quick as you can, getting over to one of the cages, and as you can see, I've got cash to collect. I deliberately selected cash as it doesn't weigh you down too much, so it won't slow your running or walking down, and it is easier to grab. Now, the trigger that you're looking for is on the bottom of the screen. When it says continue looting or leave the vault, you want to stop looting and get back out as quick as possible. This one's not about the amount of money that we can take, it's just about how fast we can actually get it done. But once again, we are using the mic and giving ourselves a countdown to get our swipes in line with each other, and then we're heading back through the man trap. And it's at the end of the man trap where I encountered my bug. Now, it happened consistently on each of the casino heists that we did attempt, where the double doors at the end just would not open for me straight away. Not sure if it's a lag issue or a connection issue or even a hosting issue, but the doors just would not open for me straight away. Roughwood would phase through the doors and disappear. So what I would have to do is just walk away from the doors and then turn back and hope that they open, and luckily enough on this time they did open. On previous runs it had taken a few attempts just walking away and heading back towards them before they opened. But as you can see from the minimap, Roughwood is making his way up the stairs ahead of me and will be taking out the guard at the top of the stairs through the door once we get to that point. But as you can see, he's had to wait for the guard to come round, and by that time I've caught up with him. But it's a quick melee hit to the head, and then it's just a matter of waiting for this camera. Now we got unlucky here, the camera was actually facing towards us, so we had to wait until it turned away. We're then walking underneath it and waiting once again till it turns back. Once it turns back, we're through the double doors, and then it's just another guard here to melee hit once he turns away from us. And at the point he turns away, we're through the door and a melee hit once again. And we got lucky with this one, the guard had actually just turned back and was starting to walk up the corridor, which allowed us to get into the changing room and get our exit disguises put on. The two guards that we meleeed and the camera position and the position of the third guard is purely luck based. There's no consistency with any of those positions, so you do need to get a little bit lucky with the RNG on that one. But making our way out towards the yellow dot with our exit disguises on, we trigger the third and final cutscene. But once that cutscene's played out, you're making an immediate right, and one of you will be melee hitting this noose officer here. Now it's only this one that you need to take down, no one else. Once he's down, you're making your way along the outside edge of the racetrack. Now you don't need to worry about any other cops that are round about you, they will not see you running along this line here, and you're just following this route here. Now you do need to get a bit lucky with the positioning of your getaway vehicles. I think we did in fact get the worst spawn for our getaway vehicles away down at the park area. And yes, you could run in the opposite direction and try and grab an NPC car, but the issues with that is it's not going to be quick enough and they don't have bulletproof tyres, and that is the main reason why you upgraded one of your getaway vehicles. It will be a hell of a lot faster than any NPC car, and it also has bulletproof tyres on it. Now like I said, I think we did get the most unluckiest spawn for our getaway vehicles, but as you'll see at the end, even this spawn location here, we had more than enough time getting this done in less than 10 minutes. But jumping into the car, I'll be driving, and the first thing Roughwood is doing is double checking the location of the buyer so as I know what direction I'll be heading in, and he lets me know that the buyer is in Elborough Heights. So first thing I'm going to do is get down into the sewer system here. Now we did have an initial plan of trying to go into the tunnel just to sit there or drive all the way through depending on where the location was in order to lose the cops, but because of the spawn location of the getaway vehicles, we thought our time was going to be tight, so I just made our way straight down to Elborough Heights and hope that we lost the cops on the way. There's plenty of areas on this route that you can actually lose the cops, especially the helicopters, which are probably going to be the most difficult thing to lose. But as you can see from the minimap, we're already starting to lose the cops, although there is a helicopter coming in. But we do manage to get underneath the motorway system here in order not to be detected by it. So heading out from underneath the motorway system here, I'm just going to make a beeline straight for the yellow dot and just try and avoid any cops that we may encounter on the way there. Coming into the Cypress Flats area, I know there's plenty of little back alleys and sort of the railway lines that go between the buildings where we can lose the cops, and it does come in handy at this point. As you can see, we're getting blocked off on both those side roads, so take that detour down along between these buildings along the train tracks, and indeed we can just follow these train tracks all the way to the buyer's location. Getting closer to that location now, and we knew that we were getting very close to losing the cops overall, and it did initially look like a clear road ahead, but we've got a cop at the end of the road. But just at that point we lost all the cops overall, so clear road all the way to the buyer. All we had to do was hit that yellow dot and that was it, job done. And a big sigh of relief there from myself getting through that drive there. But unfortunately there was a few more nervous seconds while we waited to find out what time we'd actually completed it in. Yes, well done. And I think it's fair to say I was fairly pleased with that 9 minutes and 2 seconds. But coming out after the cutscenes, I get the pop-up for the tier 3 requirements, and going in you can see that that is tier 3 fully completed, so we can collect the blue emissive Lady Liberty mask. And with that collected, that is it for today guys, so a huge shout out and thanks to Roughwood once again for helping out with that one. But that is it from me for today. If you did enjoy today's video, do leave a like, and if you are new here, why not consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.